legally as long as they're the correct species. Ma'am?
Besides lettuce and basil, are there any other plants that are suitable?
Besides lettuce and basil, what other plants are suitable for aquaponics? I believe the answer is pretty much all of them. Let's see if I can find that. There we go, small scale system. This guy here, Travis Huey, he's growing stuff, I mean everything. These guys are growing, well, I think it's tomatoes in the back there. There's really very few limitations on what you can grow in an aquaponics system. Some plants that prefer a dry soil, you would have to run the cycles less frequently. So if you put them in the same bed as a bunch of basil, you might not see the production that you would want. But if you cycle the flood and drain less frequently, for some plants they'll do better. And other plants they would want more flood and drain cycles. So you'd have to experiment with it a little bit. But online, I can shoot me an email. I'll send you the resources. But there are people really growing anything. I mean root crops, potatoes, carrots, all kinds of things. Go ahead.
Is there an organic certification for either the produce or the fish?
Okay, the question is there organic certification for aquaponic systems? The answer is yes. You have to have your growing medium has to be certain things. You can't grow in rock wool, things like that. You have to use coir. You have to have an organic feed for your tilapia. But yes, you can get organically certified in an aquaponic system. And the Aqua Ranch system, which is that one, yes, this is the Aqua Ranch system, and they are certified organic. They're up by Chicago. They have a 2 or 3 day class that they offer. So if you go to aquaranch.com, you can find out more about that. Ma'am, go ahead.
Are these small systems suitable for the individual household level because you harvest 3 fish at a time kind of thing?
Okay, are the small systems suitable for harvesting fish from? Is that right?
You're harvesting a small number of fish for an individual family.
Right. For harvesting a small number of fish for an individual family, could you use a small system to do that? The answer is absolutely. There's a website called Backyard Aquaponics, and it has numerous examples of people who do exactly that. They're mostly from Australia, and the reason for that is because Australia has been in a drought for about the last 10 years, and they see this as a powerful technology to combat the drought with, to be able to grow what you want without having to worry about the drought conditions that they're in and that we're currently facing. Ma'am?
Is there a breeding tank built into the system for your tilapia, or do you have to buy a new one that's all the time? I have a question. When you talk about the ponds,
Can I do one question at a time?
Sure is.
Okay. Can you put a breeding tank in there, or do you always have to buy the fry from someone else? And yet, the answer is yes, you can breed your own tilapia. They'll almost do it on their own if you do it right. They're very prolific breeders, and there's good information online about that, but it's sort of a long discussion in and of itself. Go ahead with your second question.
as far as you talk about the freshwater ponds and their propagation and some of
Okay, she wanted me to talk about the freshwater prawns. This timer's about to go peeing, don't worry about it. That just means we got 10 minutes left. Okay, or how many minutes do we have? 5 minutes. Okay, 7 minutes. She wanted me to talk about freshwater prawns. I haven't raised freshwater prawns, but I'm aware that people do, and they generally do it in a secondary stage behind their fish species, because the prawns will actually eat the waste from the fish, because they're bottom scavengers, and so they have a tank with the prawn in it, which the fish waste flows into, and they reutilize the nutrients that the fish don't remove from the fish feed. So you can stage prawn into a system, and some people actually put the prawn in the system with the fish, but sometimes you can run into predatory issues if your prawn are too small and the fish are the wrong species. They will eat the prawns, and that kind of defeats the purpose. Sir, go ahead.
If you get a sick fish in your tank, does that influence your production of vegetables and everything else downstream?
Right, okay. If you get a sick fish in your tank, will that affect your vegetable production? That's the question, okay. Fish definitely, I mean, fish get diseases and you have to deal with them. That's one of the things that they really went over at the University of Virgin Islands, is how to deal with fish disease issues. These systems, if you don't stock them too densely, you really don't run into a whole lot of fish problems because the plants do keep the water clean enough. You will get a dead fish every now and then, of course, but the plants can handle it, generally speaking. You won't see a massive problem in your plants because of a fish disease. You have to be careful when somebody gives you a fish. If you go out to the local lake and fish out a fish and put it into your system, you could bring in some kind of problem from that. So I don't encourage people to do that. Go ahead, sir.
In a dense urban setting, does recycling your fish carcasses, does that produce odor that's going to irritate your neighbors? How do you manage that?
Right, okay. In an urban environment, could you recycle your fish carcasses without annoying your neighbors from the smell? I would say no. Next question.
Could you bury it?
Yes. The question is, can you bury the fish in your garden? The answer is absolutely. You could bury them in the ground, and then the organisms in the ground will consume the fish. They think it's great fertilizer, so yeah, you can definitely do that. Go ahead, sir.
On a home, small backyard scale system, where would we buy the equipment?
The question is, in a home scale system, where can you buy the equipment from? That's depends on what you really want to see when you get done. You can buy used barrels, for almost nothing and plumb it together yourself. You can build a very shoestring budget type of system, or you can buy one of these systems that's $800 that looks like $1 million, and shoot me an email and I can send you the links to all that. It's just a huge range of possibilities. It depends on how you want it to look at the end. In my classes, I teach you how to build a barrel aquaponics system, which you can dress it up and make it look nice, or you can just leave it plain Jane and it it looks like a barrel aquaponics system. Go ahead, sir.
How much is the, you said there's a permit involved for, I guess, selling fish in Texas? What's that usually run?
How much is the permit to sell fish in Texas? I don't know. I think it's several $100s. I don't know. Go ahead, sir.
In your barrel aquaponics system, you put a total dollar amount on the construction and total pounds of fish you go out.
Okay, total dollar cost for barrel aquaponics system and total pound production of fish per annum, I guess you're saying? Oh, no, I don't have those numbers off the top of my head, but I can get you those numbers. But a barrel aquaponics system generally costs you maybe a couple $100 to build. It's really a very inexpensive system. It's mostly plumbing pieces, a pump, and depending on how much you can get barrels for. You want to find your barrels that have had food type items in them. I get ones that have had tomato paste and things like that in them, so that you don't have to worry about chemicals in your barrels. Go ahead, sir.
You mentioned a website where you could download a manual to do those.
Yes, you can download the manual. Sorry, we out of time? Okay, at the Travis Huey website, I believe it's fastonline.org. You can download a barrel aquaponic manual, and I recommend you make a small donation to Travis Huey because he really has done some awesome work in this field, and we need to support him so that he can keep doing this work.
We've got time for one more question.
Okay, one more. Sir, go ahead, I guess.
The systems where they were using the fish to grow plants, are there systems where they're just using the fish as a fertilizer to grow the plants, or are they selling both?
Okay, the question is, do you always have to sell the fish and the plants?
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
Yeah,
No, you don't have to sell the fish, you don't have to eat the fish. Some people just raise koi and goldfish, and they use the waste from those fish to grow their plants. Everybody's usually trying to grow plants that they can utilize, and that's what they're after, is the plants, at least. And then other people take it up a notch and they want to grow fish that they can eat. And that's when it gets a little more complicated. With the goldfish type system, it's a little simpler because you don't have to worry about the fish so much. Okay, I guess that's it.
Let's give a big round of applause.